Welcome to this video of AVConvert. I'd like to show you a workflow of editing video in AVConvert, and the specialty is that AVConvert has no timeline and no video preview. So I call it editorless video editing because you don't even have to open your videos in a dedicated video app to edit them there. Instead, the workflow in AVConvert is geared towards that you don't even recompress your video. That would be the optimal case. But then you might be missing some little features in your video that you would like to have. For instance, if you go with the lossless video editing, you cannot get any overlays or other changes in your video. The only changes you can then make is trimming the video and cropping it. So cropping top and bottom, for instance, so changing aspect ratio. So concatenation, trimming, and cropping are some of the lossless video editing features. For these, you don't need to specify specific things. For instance, we could do it with these clips. I have a folder of video clips from my summer holidays in France, and we see the same files here listed. For a better overview, I created another view of the same files. So if you just want to concatenate these in alphabetical order, we just have to click any of them, right click, and then go to the concatenate video submenu and specify one of the C options, which is concatenation related. So let's click on concatenate as they are in the folder. AVConvert will create a text file with an alphabetical list of all files, and we can see we have 730 megabytes of video footage, and it now concatenated these, but it also concatenated an examples file, which I don't want to concatenate. So what we would do in this case, we only want to concatenate these. So I right click one of them, go to the same concatenation videos submenu, but this time click on C2A, edit the list of MKV files. And we see that it also included this example file, which I will show you in a minute. And we don't want that. That's not in the original format and stuff. So we just want to concatenate the original files as they came from the camera. I right-click one of them again, go to the concatenate videos submenu again, and then this time choosing C2B, which is concatenate videos according to edited list. Obviously, I saved my changes in the list to make them effective. And if I click this now, you can see with a 10 times playback speed or even faster, essentially the data is just copied from the original files into the source, into the target file, no recompression. So we have the original video file as it comes out of the camera going, but now concatenated with all the other clips losslessly, which is a major thing if you think about it. So we have no quality loss for video nor audio, and we immediately, in a few seconds, get a lossless concatenation of these, if that is what we want. So it's totally untreated, unedited, just the raw files concatenated losslessly. We could then go ahead and trim these. So open up AVDemux, a free app for video editing, bring in our concatenation file, and then go ahead and put the cursor somewhere. And if we just drag and let go here, it will always land on an iframe, on a fully encoded frame, which is important for lossless video editing, because you can only trim videos losslessly if you do it on a fully encoded frame, on an iframe. So let's say we want only 5.7 seconds of this scene. Instead of going on a few more seconds, I put the crop or trim in point here by clicking on the A button. I then step further on iframes using these double arrow buttons until the next scene starts. Might even crop another second of this one and hit the end button of the cropping sequence, hit delete, and we have now cropped losslessly this portion. And so that's the beauty of doing a concatenation losslessly. You can still do edits like trimming later on in this file, and it will also be lossless as long as you do the trimming on fully encoded iframes. And then it would save the output file, the trimmed one, in 1 second on a fast hard drive. So it's a very fast and lossless way of editing. This time I want to show you a different way, with including a little bit of video editing, or let's say it is adding overlays, adding titles, really transforming the video a little bit to make it more interesting. And I have an example file already prepared. So this has been resized, all these same clips, but resized to my preferred output resolution of 1080, which is full HD. And AVConvert needs to recompress videos to get to this resolution from 4K, which is the native resolution of these files. So they have been recompressed once, but the quality loss is kept to a minimum below that you can even notice it. And we also have some audio files here in this folder, and I used one of these as a music bed for this final video sequence. It's not the entire video, of course, but just for a test. So let's see what it's like. We have an intro with a title overlay. Background is blurred and title is slightly fading, or rather zooming. Then we have this scene with the title overlay combined, so the title goes over both of them. Then we have stacked images, stacked videos. This is these two are just the videos as they were. Then we have, let's go back a second. We have still images, which are located in another folder here. I arranged these 3 images are in the folder. I arranged these by stacking them, also done with AVConvert. And the padding has been done with a custom color. Normally that would be black, but you can customize it, as you can see. And let's go ahead. So this is also still images in a different folder, which have been zoomed in to make them more dynamic, and then concatenate it plus a new title overlay. So everything you see, it now loops back. So everything you see has been done in AVConvert without opening any of these clips in a video editor. The only thing I might have done is trimming some sequences from the concatenated videos in order to make it a little bit more faster pace. So for instance, this clip here, which is blurred, the first file, is much longer than the overlay of the title, and I wanted to get to this next scene faster, so I cropped the end of this first thing, but after the concatenation had been done. So let's recreate what we see in this little example file, and you can see how fast and convenient it can be. It's quite different, as I told you. You have to think about, well, you don't have the overview of a video timeline where you put all the assets. Here, the workflow is you have the raw files and you think about what do you want to do with these files, and then you do it with each file separately and then concatenate. And only one step of these might involve recompression. So we keep quality loss to a minimum, and also recompression time to a minimum. And then all the rest we can do with it is lossless, because we only change orders of clips, we concatenate these, we trim. So we can come up with the coarse solution of the final version and then refine it losslessly over time. So that's a little bit of a different approach. So we now want to use this video and blur it while overlaying this one as a title. Well, not actually as a title, but as an overlay image which zooms. So we have to memorize this file's name as the first overlay image. We can define up to 2 overlay images for stacking purposes. In this case, we only need 1 overlay image, the first one defined. So this one is now overlaid not as a title, but as just an overlay image centered, which slightly zooms while it's overlaid. So, and we can now choose the option overlay image over video with a few different flavors. And we want to have the background video blurred, so we need to pick either this one or this one, and the first one to be, which is also video blurred, it will create a black border around our title, which I don't want here. So I pick 3B, which is no black overlay borders, but still a blurred video. So let's see what we get by this. Any option you pick which involves zooming effects will always take quite a bit, because every frame is different from the preceding one, in contrast with overlaying a static image where the image content will remain identical. So here every frame is different because the overlay is zoomed into. So it will take a few seconds or minutes depending on the length. This one has a length of 11 seconds, and we can see that it's now at 6, almost 7 seconds into it. So I might speed up this process a little bit. Okay, so it created a resized version of this clip, and it overlaid this title, that's the O here in the file name, and it blurred the background video. So we have now this zooming title overlaid over this clip. So this is our intro video. It's just a little bit long, but we will trim it losslessly later on. What we want to do next, well, we could now rename this and start at 01, which is our intro of the final holiday video. So to later recognize that it will be the first scene, I'll give it this name. So next scene would be this village, La Roque-sur-Cèze, and a title overlay on top of this, and also both resized. So the workflow steps would be, first concatenate these. Let's do it. So it's these two. And in order to get these concatenated, we just right-click a single one to get into the concatenation submenu, concatenate videos, and then C2A, edit list of MKV files. And we want to get rid of all other videos which we don't want to concatenate. We only want to concatenate these two, 2140 and 1246. I hit save. I concatenate losslessly by triggering C2B concatenate videos according to edited list, else it would concatenate all MKV files in this folder. So we now have the two files in original state, unaltered, just concatenated. Next step would be overlay the title and resize in the same step. So this was La Roque-sur-Cèze. We go down and see there's a title image already. This one it's a real title which gets inserted for a certain time. We specify this file as a title overlay image and make sure that we're still resizing, because this overlay process is not lossless and it has to be re-rendered. So we go ahead and go to the conversion submenu and start process, and choosing A3, start process including title fades. I want to have this title here faded in and out, and we get a new processed videos subfolder. It is quite fast compared to the first zooming process. 11 seconds already, so it will soon stop. There it is. Let's watch it. So we have the resized two clips with the overlay. That completes the second step, and we will rename this immediately to 02 holidays, and put it into our folder here, sort it. So we have now two assets ready, and since every other step which we are about to take, apart from overlaying, is lossless and so fast, and we're dealing with just a few megabytes, we can already concatenate these to see our final video. So I right-click any, go to the concatenation submenu, edit the list in order to get just the numbered files, save, concatenated, go back to the lossless concatenation, hit this C2B option again, which concatenates according to the list. It will override any other concatenation file we had, which is not a big deal. We had these two files concatenated to create an overlay over them, and that has been done. So now this is our final video for the moment, and we can even immediately watch it with underlaid audio because it's so fast and it's also lossless. So let's say we would like to pick this music as our music bed. We right-click it and choose memorize this file's name. AVConvert has now registered this audio file for any process which involves using audio. And now we right-click this concatenated intro and choose Add Replace Audio in Video, which is lossless. And just the first option, replace audio with memorized audio file. And there we have our final version for this section. And we can immediately see what it would look like. We can see that there was a little bit of too much excess of this first scene. And we can easily trim this. We don't need to do it now, but we can because it's so fast. We can do it for demonstration purposes. So right when this title is gone, we already start the cropping. We go ahead a few iframes until we have this, and maybe even another second of this. Hit B to get the end of this section. Hit delete and then save. It appends edit to the name. All this is lossless, so it's extremely fast. And now we have a trimmed version, but it had audio, so the audio got trimmed. We just need to remix the audio again, replace the audio again with the non-trimmed audio version. Okay, so that's our intro up to now. One rendering pass was involved for a few of these clips, but even if I put it full screen, it's hard to tell. Already this is blurred, so you would never be able to tell that it's not 4K, for instance. But even here, the resizing is a very sophisticated process, so you don't lose a lot of quality. You might be able to see the difference in an A/B comparison, but I still opt for 1080 as my final format. Okay, so that was just to show how fast we can watch a preview of what we already have. So these two combined with our final audio. But let's go ahead. What's next? Next is to put a few videos, not yet images, a few, because we're still in La Roque-sur-Cèze. I want to put arrange these three image videos as stacked videos, combined in one video frame. So I right click. Actually, this should be shown in large and these two stacked next to it. And for this to become reality, I right click a second video and make it our first overlay video file. And this one our second overlay video file. And this one is the third one, which is clicked on last to launch the process. So we now pick overlay video over video. And we have lots of options, stacking 2 or 3 horizontally and in different arrangements. And my preferred one is the one with a custom background color. One put on the left side, this one, and the other two stacked on the right side next to it. So let's pick this. And it will now stack these. Oh, and I forgot, we have to interrupt this process and delete the file because it will contain our title image, which we, let's see, we defined earlier here. Still, it was still defined. Well, the actual process worked as it should, but I didn't want to overlay anything this time. We already overlaid the same title beforehand. So I right click empty desktop or empty folder, go to settings for title and logo overlays and set our title overlay to blank. So we are now not overlaying anything. And since we have already specified all the rest, we can just redo overlay video over video, and we picked this option. And it will now stack these, and I want to get to like 8 seconds. I interrupt the process. Have a look. Just 8 seconds. A little bit too long, but we redo it and I interrupt it at 7 seconds. It will ask to override. I hit yes. Y for yes. So this time I'll interrupt the process at around 6 seconds. It should be a short scene. We can still trim it losslessly later on. Okay, that looks good. So this is our next asset. So this would be number 3. And let's concatenate it again. What we have. So I go to edit concatenation list. I remove all other files, only our 3 prepared assets, and concatenate these according to the edited list. And even our audio is still memorized, replace the audio to get the final impression. We edited this already, but I removed these files. So the editing can be done later on. The background color here is custom. So we have come now in a few steps. And since I am explaining it, it takes longer as it would typically last to get there. So next would be, we have pastry images, and we want to arrange these. Let's watch these. So it's 3 images of delicious French pastry. We want to stack these. So I right-click number 2. As we do it with videos, with stacking, memorize this file as the first overlay, and this one as the second, if we want to create a 3-image overlay arrangement. And the first one is our main one, and we pick this time horizontally 3 times centered colored background. And this is very fast. And we get this image arrangement. That's what I want to have here. But since this is just a still image, we have to convert this to a video file. So I repeat the process to lose less quality. We don't lose a lot, but I will do it in 2K resolution. So I'll go ahead and right-click the first one and stack the images again horizontally. Now we have 2K resolution, a little bit larger, full screen here on a full 4K screen. And now we can convert this to a video file by right-clicking it and create a slideshow which consists of just one single image. So I just create the slideshow, edit list of JPEGs in folder, and remove all other images because we only want to create a video of this one. And I can still right-click on any to launch the process. B, create, slideshow, context menu. B, create slideshow, use edited list. And this will now create a few seconds, 4 seconds of video clip, just using this stacked image. Let's stop it here. It created a little more than 6 seconds. So we can see we now have a video file of our still images stacked. So this will be our next asset. I copy it into here and number it 04. It is 4K resolution for now, as all the others. All the other assets have been resized. So let's do this too. I go back into this folder, and while we are creating this video file, so this it's a slideshow but with only a single image inside of it, we set the output resolution to 1080 and launch the slideshow creation again according to the list which contains only this single image. So we now get an 8-second, well, depending on how fast I hit stop, quit. So this is already longer than we need it to be, but now we have a 1080 version of this still image stacked, and we put it into our assets folder and rename it to 04. And now go into this folder, and we have a few images of this village. and we want to have these animated, these still images, so zoomed in, two of these zoomed in, and one of them zoomed out. And first step would be, since we haven't introduced this village, which is La Roque-Gaillac, and not La Roque-sur-Cèze, same rock, part of the name, but it's a different village. So we want to have these concatenated, the first two images, later on. But let's go ahead and just make sure that we don't have any overlays defined, and we can see it in the current settings overview. Both overlays are blank here. So we will launch the process. We right-click two of these, the two which I want to zoom into, and go to one JPEG video, including title, but we have not defined any, so it won't be overlaid. And we hit B3A option, create 8-second video, zooming in for these two. And we right-click one of these and do the same thing, but zooming out, the other option. So this will create 8 seconds long clips, video clips of the still images, zooming in or out. We can see these two are zoom in versions, and this is zoom out. And since it's zooming again, that means that it takes quite some time, even if it's only 8 seconds. So we'll speed up this process. Okay, we have all three animated zooming still images now, resized to 1080 already. These two zoom in, this one zooms out. And now we concatenate these while applying a title image from this village. And since we resized already, we will pick this one, La Roque-Gaillac. It's only there in two. Okay, so I repeat the process. I'll first combine these, create these again using 4K output size. Okay, so now we have our resized images. And now we concatenate these just as they are in the folder. So I go to the concatenation and just concatenate all videos in the folder. This gives us this. If you don't see it smooth, that's because I'm recording my screen and that's quite CPU intense. So I now overlay the title and then resize at the same step to our final dimension. So we go to convert video, A3, have it resized. I hit stop. So now we have this. It might be a little bit too long, and so we can crop it later, losslessly, or trim rather. So we put this in our assets folder, and it's number 5. And let's see what we are still missing here. So this we have, this we have. We don't have these. These are just concatenated as they are. And we have this. I think we have all the assets we need. We just need to put them in the order we need. So I make sure that the title overlay is blank again. And we have to resize this one and this one. Just resize to 1080. They stay as they are, they're just inserted somewhere. So now we have these here, and we get them into our folder. And we can now decide where we want to put these. So slideshow was La Roque-sur-Cèze, and we might put these one before and one behind. So I label this 02A, and this one 03A. So they will get inserted into our list if we now order all assets. And now concatenate all assets with the edited list. So we have 5 files. And we don't want, well, we do want all of these actually. So I'll concatenate these. According to our list, and put the music bed underneath. And this could be our final file. If not, we just have to trim it. I fast forward a little bit. Okay, the final version just needs to have a little bit of trimming going on. So I just take this concatenated file and trim it to how I like it. So I want to trim here, just 1 second. Into this scene, and I also want trim this. This lasts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 7 seconds. So let's go back 1, 2, 3, crop this 2, 3. And we have this we want to keep, but we want to crop it just a little bit at the end to get a smooth transition to here. This lasts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably too much, a second too long. So just crop here, 1, 2. And this is also quite long, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. Cut up to here. This one has the title over it. We cannot crop it, but this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So we can crop already here. Up to this. And this should create our final version. Lossless cut. Overlay the music. Or rather replace the original camera audio with our music file. Once you're happy with this result, and I am actually, you might want to try a different music bed. And typically you have to replace this in a video editor and align everything and stuff. Not here. We can in 1 second replace this music bed with this one. I right click this one and make it, memorize it as our audio file. And that's it. I just have to replace the audio again and override the other one. And it's a second. And now we have new music. I like this actually. It's so fast because it's lossless. You can try other music files and in a second you get the final edited result with this new music. So it's very fast and convenient. If we want to reorder this, for instance, I might want to put this one here, which is 2B, as 2A, sorry, as 2B. And reconcatenate, edit our list, remove everything else, and now the order is different, but we don't need any rendering. I save this and we do the concatenation with our file. So we now have this concatenation file. Well, I can even replace the audio to make it much more interesting. So let's keep the audio we just memorized and replace. Hit yes to override. So we not only changed the audio in a minute or in a second, we now change the order. I do have to do the little trimming, but since that's also lossless, it's done in a few seconds. I'm just looking now and seeing if I like this, I prefer this order. Yeah, it's different. So I might prefer the first version, but bringing it into any kind of order, we still have to trim, but bringing it into any kind of order, any order we want, is a matter of seconds and lossless, so it is easily done. No re-rendering for any change we need to or want to make as necessary in a video editor. For the slightest little change you want to later apply, you always have to re-render the entire stuff. And we have rendered some assets once, and the rest of it can be done losslessly. So putting it into a different order, changing the music, everything is lossless and fast. We could go further and do something more lossless to this. So this was 16:9, and we can do lossless cropping or lossless aspect ratio change. So if we go to this menu, losslessly change aspect ratio, and hit on the A entry, specify new aspect ratio for video, it will prompt us to enter a horizontal aspect ratio value. So instead of having this video in 16:9, let's say we want to have it in 22, enter, by vertical aspect ratio, by 10, enter. And in a second we have transformed our 16:9 video into a 22:10 video, looking like this, full screen. You can now see we have black borders, we have letterboxing, but if I don't start it full screen, we can see that there are no borders, black borders, inside the video. And if we watch the original one, you can see it's higher, 16:9, 22:10. So 16:9 would fill the frame entirely, would fill this TV screen entirely, and 22:10 is a cinematic widescreen look. And we accomplished this losslessly. So in addition to all we did before, we now made our video widescreen losslessly. Which is another cool thing on top of what we did before. So it's important to know exactly what features of AVConvert are lossless. So at any step you might be able to add things to your already rendered or whatever prepared video losslessly. So it's extremely fast. It's also fast because it's so small now, but if that was like 100 gigs or whatever really large video, it would still only take seconds to copy the data over in another aspect ratio. So if we redo it, choosing a different aspect ratio, like we could pick really random numbers like 41, enter, by 35. Let's see what we get. So we can put in anything from 70 to 1. So this is, interestingly, This is our aspect ratio of 41 by 35. Well, since we now cropped horizontally, we cropped parts of our title, which would not be a cool idea. So probably it's a good idea to crop before we even add overlays, so we don't risk losing them. But let's go even wider than this. What would be wider if we picked 22 by 9? Let's see if this is wider. Yeah, it is. So it's even widescreen here. And our title is still present in the frame, which is what we want. And we see, if I don't put it full screen, there are no black borders in the frame. Here we see it's almost entirely cropped to this background color, but still it was a lossless process, so it's a no-brainer to test it. And you might even come up with multiple versions, because it takes a second or 2 or 3 with larger videos to complete and to get a completely different look losslessly. So worth trying for sure. Okay, that's it. Hope you find this interesting. See you next time.